Alright, my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and in my opinion, there happen to be a handful of events that take place every season that you definitely want to take advantage of, and today marks the start of one of those events, and it's all about leveling up your proficiency as quickly as possible. Now, for those of you that may not know, as you level up your proficiency with your weapons and gear, you're also leveling up your expertise, and I'm going to cover everything in this video. But as we start this thing off, I want to mention the fact that leveling up your proficiency and expertise, it's totally optional. You do not need to do this to enjoy the game, and I'm saying that as someone who never made this a priority. I mean, one thing I mentioned a few weeks back was that I just got to expertise level 30, and the only reason I got there was because of one of these events that took place last season. So again, my friends, I strongly recommend taking advantage of this if it's something you want to focus on. So first of all, when you open up your menu and go to your loadout, at the very bottom, you're going to see a prompt that says Tinkering Station. You're going to press that, you will scroll over to Expertise, and once you select that, it will then take you to the following page. Now, there happen to be two numbers I'm going to point out really quick. First of all, you can see I'm at expertise level 30, that is the max, and I'm proficient in 460 out of 472 items. Now for the record, you do not need to become proficient with every single item in the game to get to expertise level 30. I'll talk about that more in a moment, so what I recommend doing is this. Focus on the weapons and the brand sets and the gear sets that you know you're going to use all the time, and once those are leveled up, then you can focus on the other things. Now at this point, my friends, we are going to talk about how to level up your proficiency, and for the purpose of this video, we are going to focus on the new brand set Royal Works, and as you can see, my proficiency rank is 0, and the max is 10, and once I'm at 10, I am then proficient with this brand set. Now there happen to be 3 ways I can level up this brand set, but to be clear, this applies to any of the gear sets, brand sets, or weapons that you may want to level up. First of all, you have the option of just simply wearing a piece of gear or a weapon, and it will naturally level up as you're playing the game. So for instance, you're trying to level up, let's say, a sidearm, you don't have to use it. Even when it's holstered, it will passively be earning that proficiency. And that holds true for your skills as well, so just by equipping them, you're going to be able to level up the proficiency. You don't have to actually use them. Next, you have the option of donating duplicate items, or you can donate items marked as junk. That can also increase the proficiency on those weapons and gear. And the other option is by donating materials, and if you take this route, the only material you want to donate to level up your proficiency is your printer filament. It is the least expensive route to take. Now what you're looking at on screen, I actually recorded yesterday and before the event began. To get from level 0 to 1 in my proficiency for Royal Works, it took me 300 printer filament. However, as of this morning, you are now going to get 3 times the proficiency just by wearing that gear or donating those resources. You're going to level up incredibly fast, my friends, and the best part is that the event is actually live for the next week. So once again, for those of you out there who have been slowly leveling up your proficiency and leveling up your expertise as you move along, this is definitely one of those events you want to take advantage of while it's in the game. Now, one thing I'd like to mention really quick as we move on, as you can see at the very bottom, there's a prompt that says donation materials. You want to press that. After you do, you're going to select printer filament. And the reason I mention that is because you're also going to see a prompt that says donate all materials. You don't want to select that because that's going to rip through everything else you may use to craft certain things. And as you can see on screen, it only takes me 100 printer filament at this point to actually level up compared to yesterday's 300. So take advantage of this, my friends, and if you have any other questions, let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Now, with all that being said, it takes us to the question of why would you bother doing any of this shit in the first place? And thankfully, the answer is pretty simple. When a weapon or piece of gear becomes proficient, you then have the option of leveling up that item equal to your expertise level. So for those of you watching this video sitting at expertise level 10, that means you can only level up until you get to level 10 for your weapons and gear. And as you increase your expertise, you can then go back and then increase the level of whatever you're trying to improve. So as you can see on screen, my capacitor was at level 14. I'm now going to upgrade it to level 16 just to show you how it works. And look, as I said previously, if you're going to level things up, I strongly recommend focus on weapons first, especially the ones you know you're going to use on a regular basis. I'm talking about St. Elmo's Engine, the Pestilence, whatever it is. These are the items that I know I'm going to use in multiple builds, so these are the items I want to spec into to obviously increase that weapon damage. Now, one of the main reasons I've chosen to put this video together right now is because I know a lot of players out there are actually making leveling up their proficiency and their expertise more of a priority because of the introduction of prototype gear. Now, when it comes to leveling up your level 30 items to prototype, in my opinion, and look, y'all can do anything you want, I would not level anything up to prototype at this moment, at least where I'm sitting, because there seem to be too many bugs, too many issues, even if, most of the issues are visual and it winds up, getting fixed naturally. I just don't trust the system right now, so I'm staying away from it. But again, we're all big kids. You can do what you want. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. All right, a few things really quick. First of all, if you are trying to get that printer filament as quickly as possible, you have a few different options. As you saw in the video, if you're already at shade level 1000, every level after that is going to go into your scavenging points. You can go there and buy printer filament with those. And you also have the option of just farming, and what you want to do is select gear system mods, play Countdown, play Retaliation, play the Summit, whatever you want. Stack those mods. When you break them down, the ones obviously you don't want to keep, you will get printer filament for them. Now, the last thing I want to mention, and this is something you've heard me mention in many of my recent videos, is that for me, how I play the game, like a lot of players out there, full-time job, this, that, whatever it is, I don't have a ton of time to play. I only have a few hours here, a few hours there, and the reason that's relevant when you watch the videos that I put together is because it's incredibly important to know your source. I'm a casual player. You know, like I said previously, I never made leveling up my proficiency or expertise a priority in any way, shape, or form, and the only reason I'm at level 30, like I said, is because of these different season events that we've had over the years. Now keep in mind as I say that, leveling these things up can improve your build, but it's not necessary. And I'm saying that as someone who has played this game since it began. I've never had any issue whatsoever completing things that I want to complete. And do me a favor, let me know in the comment section, were you a fan of expertise? Are you a fan of prototype gear? Look, I can only talk about how I play the game, and this kind of stuff doesn't affect me. But as you've heard me say in tons of videos, it's not about me, it's about what's going on in the community. All I can ever do is let you know my thoughts. You know what I mean? And as all of you know, one of my main goals in putting this channel together was to build a community where people talk about certain things, work on certain things. I pass along as much information as I possibly can to anyone that will listen. And that will never change, my friends. And to be very clear, you're the ones that put me in this position. You know, the channel has resonated with a lot of players out there. You're just like, I don't know, whatever I'm doing here. So that is going to stay the same. And I think that's all I got for this video. I need to run out the door for work. As you've heard me say recently, I really wish I won the lottery. So all I could do is live stream all day and just hang out with the dogs, you know, spend time in the backyard, just hanging out. But again, gotta go make a living, people. All right, that's it for me. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you on the next one.